Welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors. Listen, I really enjoyed visiting with Sonny Schindler. We'll have him back for a full show soon so we can really zero in on coastal Mississippi fishing. We'll also talk about the impact of all the rain, and hopefully, as we discussed, the Bonnie Carey Spillway doesn't get opened in a way that negatively impacts the Mississippi Sound. Just things we have to contend with, that is for sure. And listen, I am so thrilled now to be able to shift gears and move over to my friend, the chairman of the House Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks Committee, chairman and legislator, Bill Kincaid. Bill, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning, Ricky. How are you?
I'm doing really great. I love your background,
let me just say thank you to you and your staff and your fans. I mean, you've got a great program. You deliver a great message, and I'm thrilled to be part of that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I'm glad to have you. You're such an important part of the process, and we'll talk about legislative process in just a minute as it relates to the turkey bill this year, the turkey stamp bill. It all played out the way we hoped it would. But before we do that, Bill, let's do a couple of things. First of all, I want you to tell people where you're sitting now and the area you represent. And then tell me about the weather impacts recently in that area.
Wonderful. Yes, I represent District 52, which is Marshall and DeSoto County, which physically puts me about 8 miles south of Collierville. So I'm in the polar opposite end of the state from you. It's a tremendous part of the country, and I love it dearly. And I've managed to be reelected several times here, so I'm very focused and dialed in on my community. I will tell you that in the last 5 days, we've had about a dozen inches of rain, and we've had some devastating winds. We've had some tornadoes. In my community, the community of Sladen and Mount Pleasant, we've lost 96 homes, either destroyed or partially damaged. And so the last few days, it's all been the outreach of trying to get power and facilitate some of the seniors and the young people in our community. And so the state's been of a tremendous help, and all your prayers are greatly appreciated.
Well, Bill, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. And I know that you're a leader who leads with his heart, and I know that your constituents really, really appreciate that. So I'm sorry to hear about those difficult times, and we will definitely keep your communities in our thoughts and prayers. Listen, I love that part of the country, incidentally. My dear friend, God rest his soul, Al Hopkins, is from Walnut, Mississippi.
Hopkinsville. I know. I've spent a lot of time with Al. I love him dearly.
Oh, my gosh. He was such a good friend. We spent time over at his place on the Mississippi River and his place down here in coastal Mississippi as well. But we went up to Walnut, my son Jordan and I, he is an absolute rabid turkey hunter. He's got the affliction terribly. That's where I killed my first turkey, Bill, on his farm in Walnut. And what a great experience it was. And what we would do at the end of the day, you know how it was with Al. We would sit in our rocking chairs with no radio, no TV, and just talk. And I mean, he was such a gifted man. He had such a breadth and depth of experience. He went to divinity school in his later years. What an amazing drove from.
Ironically, yeah, I have a cabin in some little small farm up there just outside of Walnut. So I got a chance to spend some time in the country, in his part of the country, with him. And a storyteller, yes, sir. He was a avid storyteller. And there was a lot of value in Al's messages. You just listened.
There was, yeah.
So the turkey hunt are still tremendous. When we can have the weather suitable to do it. Matter of fact, that's probably where I'll head this week. Do a little what we call research.
I was just going to mention one quick additional thing that my son Justin, who works on the international consulting team for Price Waterhouse Cooper in New York City. He's actually in Japan as we speak. And my son Jordan, who's a lawyer down here on the coast, but they called Al Uncle Al, and they love, even today when we talk about him, they changed his life. And one of the deer that I have hanging here is a beautiful deer that my son killed at his place, and just It's just a special relationship that we have. Um, Turkey hunting, man, you sounds like you have the affliction.
Well, I've got several afflictions. As the seasons change, so do I. But we rabbit hunt. I mean, we'll deer hunt until it's rabbit season, and we'll rabbit hunt until it's turkey season, and then we'll take a little respite and we'll start chasing those doves, and you know the cycle. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I raised my family. I have been blessed with 4 grandsons, and they all have the same affliction. So it works out well.
What a blessing, man. I have 4 grandkids, two of them grandsons, and one is of age where he can spend time with us up in the Mississippi Delta. The second grandson will be joining us this year. And gosh, man, this is life. The life accumulates when you're a grandfather and you begin to spend time outdoors with your grandkids. I mean, I saved my family. I think a family that spends time in the outdoors together stays together. But I think, I think outdoors is what saved my sons from drifting too far off. They always wanted to be close to me because of our love of the outdoors together. But that tells your story too, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love to crappie fish. The legislature happens to get in my way a little bit with that. But we're right back to perch jerking now. So I've got a jig pole right here. We're sitting ready to go. I love to wade fish for
Yeah.
crappie. So that's an
Yeah.
affliction
That's
as
so
well.
cool, man. I love watching the videos. I've never actually done that particular type before, but the videos are dynamic. I love watching that. So, hey,
Well,
Bill, let's shift gears a bit. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
my
Finish.
children will watch me look in the back of my truck, and they'll see everything that I need, every tool for the shotguns and jig poles, and I keep my truck pretty much ready.
Well, look, that sounds like my buddy Mark Creech, who I call MacGyver. He can do anything. If the world were nearing the end, he would be able to live out of his truck, no problem. And as
Right.
it relates to the outdoor part of it, that sounds like my son Jordan's truck. He's ready to go at any time. That's for sure. Hey, listen, one of the great things about doing this show is I get to celebrate the amazing employees of the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. I've been thrilled to develop such a close relationship with people like Lynn Posey, who does a wonderful job of helping me set up these meetings periodically. But when you think about this wide range of people from William McKinley to, you name them, Adam Butler, and the list goes on, we're lucky in this state. If we're going to be the capital of the outdoors in America, we've got to have a Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks that thrives and operates on every cylinder. And then you think about where the commission is today, the current commissioners of the Wildlife and Fisheries and Parks Commission. I like what I see, Bill.
I certainly do too. I tell you, from Lynn Posey and his experience in the legislature, gives him a unique perspective. And a lot of times we'll talk about not agency stuff, but just to help me garner through or navigate some of the thought process when I'm trying to get to something. So Lynn's been a great asset and a great friend, and I think we couldn't have made a better selection. And yeah, Mr. McKinley and his deer program, and he's a wealth of information. Anytime I have a CWD question, which is quite often,
Yeah.
he's always at my fingertips. And Scotty and the Colonel, and I mean, they just do a tremendous job, and I embrace them. And they'll probably tell you I'm a little different chairman than they're probably used to because I'm pretty integrated. I'll stay
Yeah.
involved, maybe
Yeah.
sometimes to a point where I shouldn't, but I take what I do very seriously because I enjoy it.
Well, I've been doing this show for over 4 years now. And what I know of you during that entire time has been your commitment. And I can't say enough good things about that. And listen, I've been watching. We're about to end of this segment here, but I've been watching. I think that Chairman Ben Suber, who just joined me recently on the show, is doing a great job on the Senate side as well. It's great to see the two of you come together.
Absolutely, I'm excited about Senator Suber, and we've had a little right here at the end of the session. We've had some conversations about what we want to try to do in the next month to talk about getting ready for next year, because certainly some big
Yeah.
goals I have for next year. And I just need
Yeah.
to make sure that we do what we have to over the course of the summer and the off season to set the table to get, you know, the best outcome next year.
Yeah. I think, one of the things, and what we often see, whether it's the Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund, you named the bill, that we can, if we work hard, it may not always get it the first year. It may take some learning, and we may get it the second year when we go after these various really important aspects. Is that we can usually find bipartisan agreement, because when we're talking about improving recreational opportunities in Mississippi, doing things to enhance conservation or whatever it might be, that we can find common ground there and find bipartisan solutions. And you've been able to achieve that time and time again. We're at the end of this segment. So what we're going to do when we come back on the other side, we'll kind of shift the gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about what's happening in the legislature this year. And we'll look back on the turkey stamp bill as well, as we continue our conversation after this break with the chairman of the House Wildlife Committee, Bill Kincaid. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to SuperTalk Outdoors. We appreciate you joining us as we're visiting with my friend, the chairman of the Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks Committee for the House, Chairman Bill Kincaid, someone I probably should be checking in with more regularly. And now that we've got the technology all figured out, we probably will be checking with him and with him more regularly. Hey, Bill, when we went to the break, I made this point about us being able to come together in a bipartisan way on outdoors issues. One thing that I think people look at the debates around like something like the eliminating the state income tax or whatever, you name it. And sometimes those become polarizing issues. And what they don't see is what's happening underneath the covers of all this. And that is, a lot of bills are coming through the legislature in a very bipartisan way. It's like it's a tale of two worlds, isn't it?
It certainly is. We try to tackle big events or big issues every year. And I can speak for my Republican colleagues. They do a tremendous job. And our leadership team really embraces trying to establish the priorities that we need to address. And then the other chairman, like myself, we look at specifics that we want to accomplish. And again, you mentioned earlier, any bill that's worth its salt usually takes a couple of years. So I'm working on things this past year and look next year that I think will take a little time to achieve. I will say that and Chairman Whaley did a wonderful job, and I congratulate him on his agricultural assignment. But I am looking forward to Senator Suber's relationship with how we coordinate policy. Yes, we got some things accomplished this year, and I'm never one that seems very happy about what I got done, because that's history, and I need to look at the present and the future. And so, although I'm very proud of the work that Ben Suber and myself have accomplished this year, I have some pretty aggressive goals for next year.
Yeah.
And I'll say specifically, and if you don't mind me, I'll just go ahead and I know
sure,
the question
please.
Is that, yes. One of the big things that we needed to do is straighten out some past sins. And we had a trespass bill that had a restitution clause that went against our public trust law. And so we had to straighten that out. And so we did a good job of coming to terms and getting that squared away. We looked at all of our hunting seasons, and we established that, well, if this hunting season ends on a Friday, let's extend it to Sunday to give everybody more opportunity and accessibility to hunt the species. And I think that was a good, positive move. Anything we can do to improve opportunity is what I wanted to be about. And then, obviously, the turkey stamp. That was a mission in itself, and we passed a really strong Senate bill this year. Had my language in it, but it was a good bill. It provides a resource of funds that we can use for habitat protection and enhancement, education, the things that turkey hunters are avid about. As you know, turkey hunters, we are a subculture, and we like to be identified by that. And so to create an opportunity for us to have a fund that's dedicated solely to stay in the state, to be used for our turkey, is exactly what we needed to do. And that was the intent of this bill. And so I'm very proud that the Senate saw their way this year to letting us get over the finish line. I think it'll mean about $1.5 million a year is what I anticipate.
Yeah. And the possibility of matching that with potentially some federal funds. So the opportunities are tremendous. You know what I found is that there was wide agreement and wide knowledge within the turkey hunting community that this was a good thing and we needed to do it. And I think that's terrific. Hey, we're kind of coming to the end. We got about 2 minutes left. But what I want to do is, after you and Chairman Super have the opportunity to chat, I'll get both of you on. We'll do this early. Let's don't wait too long after the session is over. After you guys have met, let's come together, the three of us, on the show, and let's talk about next year. Let's talk about some of the open items, the kind of things we need to be focusing on. One thing I know you got your eye on it big. You mentioned at the beginning, but CWD continues to be an important thing, and we're doing a good job as a state of tracking data. And there may be some other things we need to do to make sure that we're, got the data we need to be able to compare, so we can find best practices and stay on top of that. Because all we can do is slow it down. There's no cure. We can slow it down and hope the science catches up and keep prevalence as low as possible. Bill, you got about a minute left. So anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, I will tell you that there's, before we get off here, wouldn't be doing it justice if I didn't say that there's one thing that I really want to get done that will address some of the things that CWD has challenges that brought us. But we have to achieve harvest reporting in this state.
Yes,
that
we
has
do.
got to be our number one mission, because without data, it is very difficult for Senator Super or myself to make policy. We've got to have numbers.
Yes.
Got to know how bad this disease is, what's being harvested where. We're the first state in the country that had DMAP, deer management, and now every other state copies us. But we're the only state in the country that has no harvest reporting. That makes no sense.
We do harvest reporting on the coast for fishing. We do harvest reporting on other species. We definitely have to get it done.
Every state does.
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident we will. In fact, that's one of my. If that is my number one. Number one. 20 seconds left. Bill, listen, Bill, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
I'm so fortunate and blessed to be where I'm at and have the opportunity to do what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. Lord's blessed me with a beautiful family, a beautiful bride. Been married 48 years, and so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, listen, thank you. Have a great day, and we will see you next Monday.